So the speech is done, and reaction from both sides, you know, it is swift. Let's continue our breaking news coverage now live from the Capitol. Our Adam Longo is there and just caught up with some of our lawmakers. And Adam, what are you hearing tonight?
So, Lorenzo, in those discussions with our local congressional delegation tonight, we wanted to drill down on one specific topic. We wanted to focus in on the economy, on inflation, on rising costs, and whether or not they think that the president is doing everything in his power to be able to bring those costs down so people are paying less for things. One of the things that they mentioned, the president releasing 30 million barrels of oil from the strategic petroleum reserves, along with partners globally, adding another 300 million barrels to do that, to hopefully bring down the price of gas. Also hearing from a lot of our local leaders about American manufacturing and how critical that will be in the long term so America can rely less on global supply chains and other things that'll bring prices down, not that quick, but hopefully eventually. Let's listen to what some of those lawmakers had to say.
And I believe there'll be some help from the Federal Reserve in doing that. But I think this is a temporary phenomenon because of unique circumstances with supply chains, with the labor market, and of course with the pandemic.
There are some things that we're going to be able to do in the short term, but even more that we'll be able to do in the longer term, and that's why it's really important that we pass the Americans Competes Act, to put us on a better global footing over the long term, and also to produce to engage in more manufacturing here in America.
A third of the inflation we had last year was just new and used cars because of the chip shortage. My family's been in the car business 50 years, and the cars were all selling it at sticker, not at invoice.
First things first, Ukraine. He started off exactly right. He recognized that he was confronting something that no president in our lifetime has confronted.
It was unfortunately very uninspiring. We had hoped he would rise to the moment, and he had some good points in his speech, but overall, the rhetoric was tired.
Now, as far as where the president started his speech tonight with Ukraine, all of the Democratic members of our local delegation gave the president very high marks in that area. Congressman Klein, though, said he wished that the president would have gone farther, questioning a lot about why Russia is still a permanent member of the UN Security Council. As for tomorrow, the day after the State of the Union, both the vice president and the president will be hitting the road. Vice President Kamala Harris in Durham, North Carolina at a technical community college, and then President Biden to Duluth, Minnesota and Superior, Wisconsin to talk about the bipartisan infrastructure plan and how many jobs will be put to work for that. We're live at the Capitol tonight. Adam Longo, WUSA9.
Yeah, we know presidents like to keep up with that momentum following their State of the Union addresses. Adam, thank you so much. And after President Biden's address tonight, Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds delivered the Republican response.
This is not the same country it was a year ago. The president tried to paint a different picture tonight, but his actions over the last 12 months don't match the rhetoric. It's not what he promised when he took office. But it doesn't have to be that way. There is an alternative. Across the nation, Republican governors and legislators are showing Americans what conservative leadership looks like.